How do everyone, and welcome back to Royville in 4-Color. I'm Stefan, and this is my comic book journey. I did a lot of soul searching this week about what I want to do on this series. And yes, I want to talk all about comics because I love them, but also I see a lot of YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube content about comic books, and a lot of it is about collecting comics, which is all great. I love those, but not so much about reading and enjoying what's in it. A lot of it is just looking at the pretty cover. And as much as obviously I like doing that, I always got into comics because of the stories, the heroes. They were larger than life. They were a mythology. And I kind of want to highlight that in this series. So I've made a decision, not so much that I'm going to do it every time, but I want to try to strive to only show comics when I am showing comics, because sometimes I might, just talk about stuff in the industry or whatever. But when I'm actually showing comics, I want them to be comics that I've read so that I can talk about them. I didn't have a lot of time this week to read comics. Life kind of got in the way. I'm in a play and it's opening tonight. However, I was able to go through my polls, so I'm going to be highlighting those today. Also, I kind of did the first 3 videos stream of conscious from what I remembered, and I've decided this time to take notes. So hopefully they'll work. I'm going to have to probably be looking down a lot, but we'll see how it goes first time doing that. So, without further ado, let's see what I picked up at the local comic shop this week. The first one that I'm going to highlight is Avengers Twilight number 2. I really like this series so far. It's roughly about Steve Rogers when he's old, about a totalitarian government, and it does kind of give me some Superman, Dark Knight vibes. The Avengers are working for the totalitarian government. However, the government, the president, is a stooge to another power. The Defenders of the Week are Luke Cage and his new Defenders, which, as much as I can tell, is basically just a bunch of young computer hackers. If I'm missing something, let me know. However, they are able to give Steve Rogers the serum again, so he's an older, wiser, but yet not as strong Captain America, but he still kicks some butt. I didn't like, I guess in this, Captain America, Steve Rogers, more specifically, is married to a woman named Rosa. I don't know who that is. I don't know if she's in other comic books. If you know of that, please put them down in the comments. I would be interested. She kind of comes off, though, as a little, in my opinion, a little disappointing. She is very, very upset that Steve has taken on the identity of Captain America again, and basically you go out that door and I'm leaving you. And in my opinion, that can be compelling, but we see it in so much media, whether it be comic books or movies, books. It's just, in my opinion, that subplot's kind of played out. However, I really still enjoy this series, and there's a big reveal of who's actually controlling the strings of everything at the very end, and I'm excited to see what happens next. The next book I got is Batman 142. Now, this is the start of the Joker Year 1 storyline. and it is written by Chip Zdarsky and penciled. Now, I wrote these down. I've never heard these names said out loud, so I'm probably going to butcher them. I am very sorry to all of these individuals. They are creatives, and I'm very, very happy they're in the industry. So, Chip Zdarsky is the writer, and the pencils are by Gillespie, Camuncoli, and Andrea Sorrentino. Very interesting. Chip Zdarsky was also the writer on the Marvel book. So he's working on Marvel at the same time as working with DC, which I thought was really interesting. However, I'm not really digging this story so far. Not that it's bad, it's just okay. The story is okay, and the art is okay. It's not really grabbing me all that much. But like the story says, it's Joker year one, but it's almost like I've seen this done before better. And especially the year one idea. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, maybe I can do some reviews of those issues. Just put that down in the comments. Because it's not only kind of a Joker year one, but it also talks about Jim Gordon before he's a commissioner and Batman, Bruce Wayne. It seems to be kind of a look into the multiple psyches of the Joker and what the original person was going through as they were becoming the Joker. I gotta say, this for me, now obviously if you are thinking differently, please put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear it, but I never really needed to have sympathy for the devil. Sympathy for the Joker. He was a bad guy, he's Batman's opposite. So why, I'm not really digging this whole psychological, oh no, he was a guy that was just misunderstood and then something very bad happened to him. Well, yeah, something bad happened to him. He's the Joker now, but he's Batman's opposite. I'm trying to put it into words that make sense, but for me, it all just boils down to, I like the Joker as is. I don't need to know why he does what he does. At the end of it, there's a very interesting idea that someone that trained the Batman is going to train the Joker. Don't know if that's ever happened in the past or been elaborated on in the past, but I'm going to stick with it, see where it goes. However, for me, this one was just okay. The next book I've got is Birds of Prey, number 6. Now, this is the last issue in this story arc where Black Canary gets a bunch of female heroes together to go rescue Sin from the Amazonians on Themyscira. It was very well done, action-packed, loved it. It is written by Kelly Thompson, and the art is by Leonardo Romero. And it is really good. I loved how it wrapped up. I don't want to kind of tell you how it wrapped up. You might need to read it. However, it was very action-packed. I loved the writing of the characters. Really loved Big Barda in the series. And at the end of it, there's a little bit of a cliffhanger for what's going to happen next. So this is going to continue. The only thing about this is, and once again, as I always say, spoilers for these comics, that they talk about how they need to get a new team together in the next issue. Now, I don't reference, obviously, that it's an issue, but that there's a new mission and a new team that's going to happen. I don't know if I like that. I liked the characters on this team. Why can't we continue with them? Are you getting rid of my big Barda? I mean, come on. I even started to like Harley Quinn. I don't really care about her. So I really wonder what they're going to do with this series going forward. Hopefully it still works though, and I'm still excited about it because this is one of my greats. Whenever I grabbed it, I always tried to read it almost the first day. Love this run. I really like the artwork. It actually kind of a 60s, 70s psychedelic vibe. You can kind of see a little bit on the cover, and it kind of looks a lot like this a lot. So, very interesting, very cool. I wonder if the art's going to stay the same once they get the new team. If you like this lineup, let me know. Other than that, we'll get on to the next book. Now, the next one I got was Shazam! Number 8. It's Shazam because there's a little exclamation point at the end there. So this is kind of a fun issue. The whole series has just been fun. Written by Mark Waid, and this one was also written by Goran Saduka. Once again, sorry if I'm butchering the name. And they are both given as storytellers. So I think maybe Saduka was the artist. Not exactly sure. However, really enjoying this run. It's just a fun, light read. In this one, the end of his Titanic battle with Black Adam is over, and they have to figure out what to do with the dinosaur empire that needs all that paperwork and their auditor back. Billy's having a little bit of a struggle with that, and realizes that even having the wisdom of Solomon does not work if you just go, go, go and don't sit and think about things. It's just a fun read. The art is just fun, and there's not much else I can say about it. There is kind of an interesting story with Black Adam and Zeus, king of the Olympian gods, but I'll leave that for you to look at if you pick this issue up. Once again, though, Shazam is a pretty fun read. All right, the next one I got is the latest Captain America, number 6. Now, I'm liking the series now. I didn't really like it so much when it started, but it's starting to pick up steam. Cap fighting demons. Interesting premise, not really his wheelhouse. However, it's getting better and better as it goes. And not only this, but I didn't like in the previous issues how they spent some time in the modern day, some time in the past with just Steve Rogers before he gets his serum, trying to fight against the Nazi threat. I just wanted, like, come on, let's get the shield, let's do some fun Cap action. However, I really liked it in this issue, and I think it played really, really well. There is also, as Cap is fighting basically this avatar, this powerful demon, it's Captain America. If he can save someone, he's going to. And he decides, he finds a way to save the person that the demon is inhabiting. However, it says specifically that there might be severe repercussions for Steve Rogers' actions. But it's Steve Rogers. If he's going to save someone, he can. And I kind of really like that, and I wonder what they're going to do with that in the future. So, I am liking this, and the more I read it, I like it more and more. And it does kind of also have some parallels for real fears that are going on in America right now. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't hit you over the head with it. So it's still just a fun, heroic comic read. And this is written by J. Michael Straczynski, of course. A little bit of a caution, it is very wordy. So you might take a little bit more time reading this one than some other comics. He likes his word count. But still really good. And then the art is by Lan Medina. And I'm also liking the art on it. Really nothing to write home about, but I think it works in the issue. All right, so that's Captain America number 6. All right, the last one on this side of my notes is Ghost Lore number 8. I love this series. I picked it up. My wife and I actually decided to get it. Not really get Boom Studios all that often, but the idea of the ghosts and the mediums I really enjoyed, and she's also into that, so we kind of read it together. Not at the same time. Anyway, this is written by Cullen Bunn, and the arts are by Leomax, I think is how you say that name. But this is a really fun series. Odd to say that and then say that the premise is there's a family of 4 gets in a car wreck, the mother and the son die, and the father and the daughter are left to pick up the pieces. However, from that accident, they can now see the dead. And it just gets bigger and bigger with each story. You start to see that there's a society of these people, that the dead are very well prevalent. There's also a group that is trying to hunt down these individuals and either kill them or get them to work for them. The art is really, really focused on kind of this, in my opinion, obviously all this is my opinion, a pre-code horror style, and it just fits so well with this book. At this point, the father is searching for his daughter. They were separated, and the father's going down a little bit of a darker path with the ghosts. Interesting enough, because he started as a pastor. But at this point, he's more focused on getting his daughter back and seeing the crazy things that are happening around him. And whether he's worried or not, it's just very interesting to see how he is dealing with the ability to interact with ghosts as opposed to his daughter, who has actually been able to fall into more of a loving group of individuals that can also do that. So that is Ghost Lore number 8, a very strong recommend from Welcome to Royville. Definitely a pickup if you can find it. All right, so now I'm going to flip my notes over. And the last 3 issues I have here. This is another pretty interesting one. This one is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And this is number 3. Now, the art of this book is pretty much here. Let me show it to you again. The art of this book is very much like this throughout. Kind of this almost Berenstain Bears style art. Also, I remember seeing this kind of art when I went to the doctor as a kid. They had these like magazines, and they had anamorphic animals doing things that can teach little kids stuff. But it really reminds me of that kind of style. It looks like something a little child will pick up and just love to look at the anthropomorphic animals walking about town doing things. By the way, it's about 2 serial killers. Yeah. It's really interesting, the dichotomy of the art based off of what's going on in the story. Basically, there was a serial killer, goes out of town, comes back, and there's another serial killer in town, and they have to basically figure out the first one, the hero serial killer, has to figure out who's doing it so that they can stop them so that they don't get caught. It's really well written, just fun and really off kilter, and another strong recommend. I thought that this one was only going to be 4 issues, but I saw a 5th issue advertised, so hopefully they're able to keep it up with the same type of quality. But Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Very, very fun read. Alright, and the next one that I have here is XO Man of War Unconquered number 6. Look at that cover. That's awesome. Alright, so I'm a big fan of Valiant Comics, mostly because of this character right here. XO Man of War is the armor and is worn by Alaric. And thankfully, now I've reviewed another, I think issue 5 in a previous one, and it was almost ridiculous to see what was going on because the art was so dark. They changed the pages, or the actual physical pages that it's printed on, and it's not as glossy, but oh my God, can you see so much better about what's going on in the issue? And I really wish they just would have done that throughout. However, it's the last issue of this mini-series, so XO Man of War Unconquered is over. And I liked how it turned out. However, big nitpick here, in the last issue, Alaric really doesn't do anything. He is kind of a participant, or sorry, he's kind of a spectator in everything going on around him. I don't, obviously the book's about him and the armor, and so maybe he should have been a little more instrumental in the conclusion of the story arc. Don't know. But I'm excited that I could see what was going on. I could read everything a lot better. I did like Alaric, not Alaric. A-R-I-C. I did like the interaction between Arik and Shannara, the sentient AI that is the XO Man of War armor. I thought that was really well done. However, I wish he would have been more instrumental in defeating the big bad guy. That being said, the art, now that I can actually see it a lot better, is really, really interesting. It reminds me of the old heavy metal comic magazine back in the day. Very visceral, very almost kind of brutal in some aspects, but really good. Kind of, Alaric is definitely a hero for heroes. He wants to take down the bad guy, but he doesn't want the innocents to be hurt. But yeah, and at the very, very end, there is an advertisement. Thank goodness, that Exo Man of War will return. So I have that to look forward to. Overall, the series was a pretty good read. I just wish I could have seen it better. And at the end, Eric had a little bit more to do in the resolving of the plot. Exo Man of War Unconquered, number 6. And the last one I picked up and read this week is probably my favorite. If I could say I have favorites, I shouldn't though. And this is Conan the Barbarian, number 7. Look at that cover. Nice. All right. So, really liking this series. It is a must for me. I'm a Howard fan. I'm a Conan fan. And they are just knocking this out of the park. It is written by Jim Zub. And the art, now I am probably really going to butcher this name. If Doug ever listens to this, which he'll never will, I really apologize. If you do ever listen to it, please put it down in the comments how you say your last name. It is Doug Braithwaite. I tried. But I'll tell you, Doug, love your art, man. Love it. You knock it out of the park with a Conan book. It is exactly what I would think a Conan book should look like. Great. I love the story. It's a little bit Conan the Thief as opposed to just the Barbarian. However, there are possessions and undead and eldritch horrors and Conan basically slaying his way through the plot, trying to figure out what's going on, and then at the end, something really horrid happens to Conan, and I am so into what's going to happen next. I love this book. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Doug. Keep it up. Loving it. All right. So that was what I was able to pull for this week and what I was able to read. So, if you liked the format of me actually reading all of the comics that I put up, please let me know. Now, there might be some times that if I get a big lot of books, I don't have time to read all of them, but I would still like to share them. But eventually I will try to read all of them and speak about them. Do you like that I had more notes? Did you like that I had any notes? Please let me know down in the comments. If you have any ideas of how I can make these better, I would like to evolve this series and make it the best that it can. Please let me know. However, other than that, if you like anything, don't like anything, comment, be nice. Hit the notifications so you know when we drop another video in the series. And please subscribe. Alright? So remember what your mom said. If you gotta be a dick, be a Grayson. Till next time, everybody. Keep reading.